threatening our democracy, and we've got, as people of God, stand up and fight back. This is the most dangerous time since I have arrived. I want to say that to you. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the great German Protestant theologian who died opposing Hitler's Holocaust, believed that the test of the morality of a society is how it treats its children. We're flunking Bonhoeffer's test every hour of every day. Listen to your future from these new statistics that we've just gotten. Every 3 seconds, every second, excuse me, a child is suspended from school, and we've got to stop putting children out of school and educate them. Every 21 seconds, one of our children is arrested. Every 34 seconds, in the richest nation on earth, a child is born into poverty. We have 16.4 million poor children now, 7.5 million in extreme poverty. Die in child poverty in this rich nation. And no, it hasn't. A child is abused or neglected every 47 seconds, but a baby is born without health insurance every 87 seconds. That used to be 42 seconds. But you got to fight these budget cuts in California. You cannot take children's health care away, and you got to fight to make sure we save reforms which would cover 95% of the children. We can lose it all. Don't you let them cut the health care of children in this state. Fight those budget cuts. Income, 1% of Americans saw their incomes grow by 275% compared to an increase of only 18% among the bottom 20%. We now have the fourth highest level of income and wealth equality in the world. In 2008, most recent data, the 400 highest income taxpayers earned as much as the combined tax revenues of 22 state governments, with almost 42 million citizens. And in 1911, last year, the top 25 hedge fund managers made a combined total of $14.4 billion, with one hedge fund earner getting $3.9 billion, or about $124 per second. They don't need another tax cut, and that's what Paul Ryan and the Republicans are trying to do in Congress. We need to say, I wouldn't deny anybody their first million, their second million, their 10 million, maybe even their first and second million, if there are no hungry children, if there are no homeless children. Don't let our country go backwards. Don't have us refight the battles of the past. I believe, and a number of historians believe, that I've been talking with that we're in the second post-Reconstruction era. Wave up is going backwards. Voter suppression, the kind of hijacking of the political process by money, the Citizens United, the union busting. The trends are all there, and we've got to do something about it. And the last set of facts I want to give you is because we don't have literate children, educated children who have the skills to get the job, we are not going to have a productive workforce, and a majority of all of our children in all racial income groups cannot meet a computed grade level in 4th, 8th, and 12th grade. Get 3,000 people.
We're trying to get 3,000 people.
Thank you. To Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
July 22nd to 25th.
July 22nd to 25th.
We want half to be young people, and we've got to have dream young people coming to Cincinnati. 1,500 young people, and I want 1,500 adults. Don't come if you're not prepared to act. And get out of the current box. But we want you to come there, and we're going to talk about race, we're going to talk about poverty and the wealth gap, we're going to talk about the education gap, and we're going to close the courage gap that we've got to do in order to really challenge these other gaps.
Dietrich Bonhoeffer has been quoted, and Dietrich Bonhoeffer also said, we are not to simply bandage the wounded victims beneath the wheels of injustice. We are to drive a spoke into the wheel itself. I have, for almost 30 years now, been blessed to serve as a pastor and live my life in the midst of a tapestry of wonderful persons who have often become wounded victims beneath the wheels of injustice. And I have often run out of bandages. And so I am very grateful to CLU, to the persons on this stage, to the persons being honored, and to all of you for the ways in which you provide the spoke to drive into the wheel. And I want to sing a song. And so, it's just a little song. We'll take our stand in the heart of LA, the queen of angels, broken heart. We'll fight for jobs and decent pay, and we'll finish each battle we start. We're coming out of the shadows now to occupy the light, and we ain't giving our rights away, not without a fight. All we want is to work and live, and to see that our children are fed, that they get good care when they're sick or hurt, and a roof above their head. We are made in the image of God, precious in God's sight, so we ain't giving our rights away, not without a fight. Sing with me. We ain't giving our rights away, not without a fight. So let justice flow like a mighty stream. We won't wait for it to trickle down. And you who will crush the people's dream, we say, you belong in this town. We ain't gonna run or hide away. You can't keep us outside. And we ain't giving our rights away, not without a fight. Sing that with me. We ain't giving our rights away, not without a
We, as Marisol mentioned, we're an immigrant youth-led organization, one of the many across the country of this growing movement of immigrant youth leaders, really taking on the lead and the forefront of the immigrant rights movement. We're fighting for equal rights for access to education, but we're also fighting for access to a pathway to citizenship. We met Rabbi Klein, Pastor David Farley, Pastor Janet at the hunger strike back in July 2010, when we were demanding for the passage of the DREAM Act here in Los Angeles and across the country. We also, just last week, we had Reverend Aaron Tamayo coming to our action, demanding the stoppage of deportations of undocumented youth. Even though President Obama continues to say that he wants to pass the DREAM Act, that he likes dreamers, and he brags about his support for us, he continues to deport undocumented youth across the country. So we're here to demand a stoppage of deportations of undocumented youth and to grant administrative relief for every single undocumented youth in this country. And we're not going to stop there. We're going to continue pushing for the DREAM Act. We're going to continue on once the DREAM Act passes and continue pushing for immigration reform overall. And we'll continue on the pathway for justice. We'll learn from Reverend James Lawson on the tactics of non-violent social justice. And we'll continue to move forward and continue in this partnership with you all here today. So we're really, really grateful of the honor that you give us as emerging giants, and we look forward on this partnership, on these meaningful relationships in the years to come. Thank you.
Week for me. I should tell you, on Monday, we achieved what I thought was impossible a few weeks ago. My goal every year since I've been on the council has been, in this economic disaster that we're facing, halting layoffs in the city of Los Angeles. And although we started $230 million in debt when we started the budget process, we did no harm and we didn't lay anybody off for the first year. So I'm very proud of that. Memory of my father was walking a picket line with him when I was a toddler, and the first thing I learned literally was, you never cross a picket line. He was the youngest professional soccer referee in Germany. When he had to leave to flee the Nazis, he came here and became a waiter because he had no occupation. No soccer was played in the 1940s in Los Angeles. And I watched his work as a rank and file active member of what then was Waiters Union Local 17, now Unite Here Local 11. proud to watch him fight for his family and other working families. And every time I do something like that, I feel I honor his memory.
The early church danced. Many of you may not know that, danced as part of the liturgy and called Jesus the Lord of the Dance. And I think the movement for justice is very much a dance, where everybody has to do their steps for the beautiful dance to emerge. And there aren't steps that are more important or less important. And some of us are recognized more for the steps we do, and others are not. So I want to actually accept this award in the name of Lupe Luna. Lupe Luna, for those of you who don't know her, was a hotel worker at the Century Plaza, and then a hotel organizer. Lupe and I share in common that we have back problems. Only Lupe's back problems come from the acceleration of production, from having to clean way too many hotel rooms in too little time.
It is especially significant to me because I was taught a gospel that has feet, action. It means that we are concerned for the least among us. It means that we've got to do something with that faith. It's something that I feel in my bones, and I'm compelled to do something about it. And it's something you do not for the recognition, not because somebody's going to give you a prize. You do it because you have to do it. Clue is doing the hard-ass work of organizing. I hope you church folk don't mind. Can we talk? They're organizing the hotel workers, the restaurant workers, the car wash. Who would have thunk that we would be organizing in car washes? That's so important. The newcomers to our community. In my organizing training, I was taught that you do your work in community, that you do your research, that you check the levers of power, that you make your plan, you go into action, and you keep continuing fighting until you get a victory. And thank you, God, for all the victories that Clue has gotten this last year. And you don't let the politicians off the hook. You hold them accountable. You elected them. You hold them accountable. I learned early on to question authority. Can you tell? Perhaps a confession is in order, and that is that as a Chicana activist, I thought I was pretty hot stuff at one time. I was working with Father Luis Olivares, and he started to work with the refugees from El Salvador. And I said, hey, wait a minute, Louis, the Chicano agenda isn't done yet. Why are we helping those? And I had to learn from people like Luis Olivares and John Bruno that God's arm of justice reaches to everyone. Stage, I want to simply ask you all to join Clue in their fight for justice. Thank you.